is going to start in net, but the coach says Connor Ingram is fine. The lines go like this: McDavid between Nuge and Hyman, Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Roslovic, Dickinson with Savoy and Kapanen, and Szymanski centering Henrique, who's back in the lineup, and Trent Frederick. That should be an interesting line. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Murphy. Jason Gregor mentioned that he thought that would be ultimately how that veteran pairing broke down, and we are here because partly of the Emberson injury. And then Wallman with Stastny. That's going to be the chaotic one a little bit. Wallman not 100%. Stastny, a young player. We'll talk about that and more on the way. Now, I have to confess to you that I always write a script with the intros today or every day, but my LibreOffice is updating right now, so I can't do that. So I will just say that one of the great things about being my age and at my point in life is that even though I had to drive through, I would say, an uneven spring day, I get to work with three fabulous young people who do not yet know that old people like me are devoted to ruining their lives, and that will come in the next 25 years. So I just want to say I so appreciate all of you, all three of you coming in today. I'm sure you've got better things to do. And for you to come here and, just kind of be here, I so appreciate you. I want you to know that. Oh, wait a minute. Here's the intros. Okay. She appears to have the one thing the rest of us on this show lack: focus. Ladies and gentlemen, the future host of this show, or similar, Mackenzie McLennan, everybody. Mackenzie McLennan.
Thank you. Thank you. That is true. Like, I can sit on my couch and play crosswords for like 4 hours straight.
Oh, you're a crossword. Do you do those word puzzle things and things like that too?
I don't do Wordle.
Oh.
That's my brain too much.
I did Wordle in 4 today.
Nice.
I love working with him, even though there are major disagreements about research, Brad Pitt, and the value of Ryan Lomberg. It's because he's funny. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick.
Yeah, funny looking, that's for sure. Zinger.
How are we doing on the lady friend area?
Terrible. We're doing awful.
Why is this happening? Why do you need
No, it's okay. Listen,
I can't go out there fine. And help you because I'm old and it'll look foolish. But come on,
that would be a weird pairing for sure. So I'm doing.
What do they call it? Shotgun or side saddle? I can't do that for you.
Wingmanning.
Thank you.
Also, we're good. It's okay. Best friend, he's back in town.
Oh, good.
From Saskatchewan. He works there 2 weeks, 1 week off.
Is it near North Battleford that he works?
No, he works in Yorkton.
Oh,
actually.
Wow. That's
a
poke.
So I saw him for the first time in a month and a half.
Yeah.
So that was really nice because outside of my blood relatives, I would say he's the person in the world I love the most.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
Really nice to be able to see him and hang out for.
And may I just
Wednesday.
say, as somebody who is older and went through an era where males were not able to, verbalize how they felt about other males. Good for you for being so open about how you feel about your friend. And how important
not my friend, my best friend, adoptive brother, second family.
They are in your life. That's a good thing.
It's very nice,
very well adjusted, except for the Brad Pitt part. I was worried about him because of the Bills' performance in the playoffs and Jimmy getting hurt. But bam, saved the day yesterday. And I do not believe his joy has waned at all in the last 24 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger.
How do you like them apples? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. You can't handle the truth. No one in the NBA had 83 last night. I'm telling you, man.
So
I'm telling you.
If you let me ask you this, and we will talk hockey, don't worry, because we will, I promise. If you had to pick someone else in the NBA today who'd get 84 in the next year, who would it be?
It's a really good question. There are a few names that come to mind. I think Luka's offensive capability, if he really gets in his zone, like he has no Reeves, he has no LeBron. They're also playing a team like the Kings or the Wizards or the Pels. He's a guy who could do it. I think not right now, but in like a year or two, I think Wemby could be a guy who could go out and get 84. Like he's already unstoppable on offense. He's not on a minutes restriction, but he doesn't play like that many minutes. And then my sneaky third pick, just because this guy is such a dog, he kind of has that Kobe Mamba mentality, if you will.
Dog in a good way.
Yeah, would be
Duncan Robinson.
Would be Anthony Edwards. Those would be my three.
All right. And what about you there, young man?
I would say Luka was the very first one that came to mind of he scored 73 last year or whatever. So
I'm like 67 true shooting or
yeah,
something.
it was nuts. So I'd probably take him. I meant to finish writing a tweet yesterday, but
You fell
Sam
asleep.
Block put one out that was like, keep 3, cut 15 next to score 83. And it included WNBA players, and Bam's better half, Asia Wilson, was on there. And I was
Nice.
like, ooh, she scored 63. She could do it. She taught Bam everything he knows. So.
Wow. That's very cool. All right. On the show today, Bag Milk will join us at 1. Scott Wheeler is a prospect guru with The Athletic. He and Corey Pronman routinely drop by here. In the rebuilding years, they were regular guests, not so much anymore because the Oilers are trying to win a Stanley Cup, and they are number 30 of 32 teams in his prospect pool rankings. I'm going to talk to him today at 12:40. I want to ask about the kids that were signed. They're not really kids. They're 22, 23 years old in Bakersfield, and he has an interesting take. I recommend you read it. It's up at The Athletic right now. Interesting take on Ike Howard that I really want to drill down on, and we will do that at 12:40 today. The usual things, rumors, of course, and declinations. Since it's Thursday, I think we're talking NCAA.
Declan NCAA, and the selection Sunday is this Sunday.
Mhm.
Miami, Ohio, still kind of on the bubble. We got some tickets punched. Gonzaga punched their ticket.
Nice.
Very cool.
Cool.
23rd WCC title.
Yeah. How many times has Gonzaga been close enough for Jazz and then not won?
Well, they're so funny because every single year they're good, but not good enough because they beat up on that West Coast Conference and kind of also just lose the same areas. And everyone's like, but they're really good. And then they get to the Elite Eight, Final Four, and it's like, ooh.
Well, what year was there crying? I can't remember which one that was. They were close that year.
They've been close a couple times.
Yeah.
Mark Few's got 2 Final Fours, I think.
All right. I just want Gonzaga to win. It just seems like the state of North Carolina gets all of the championships. And if they don't, Florida does.
Well, I mean, like Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina seems to kind of rotate between those 3.
Well,
right?
what about Duke? I suppose they're in.
They're in North Carolina.
I know, but are they strong this year?
Oh, they're the best team this year. Unfortunately for us, I know. I thought your eyes glossed
you
over.
have to understand how much I hate this.
Yeah, no, it's.
Why can't you lie to me?
Well, maybe some magic will happen in the ACC tournament. I don't know.
All right. Oilers tonight, the first 2 games of this road trip, I honestly have to tell you that the game they just played in Denver is I told you earlier, I didn't think they were going to, I said they won't win the Stanley Cup, but I was like, man, this team cannot get out of its own way. And I understand that. I'm often that way. But to imply that they had any chance to go anywhere seemed like a bridge too far. They played so well the other night against Denver, against Colorado. And so I'm looking forward to the same effort because here's what I know about the Edmonton Oilers when they're on and they are coached by Chris Knobloch. They have a repeatable game they can play. Oftentimes, when Todd McLennan was the coach, it was McDavid's going to outscore the mistakes and Cam Talbot will stop everything, right? And then when Woodcroft was going on, Woodcroft had some really, really interesting offensive maneuvers that allowed the team to they didn't need Talbot, and they sure as hell didn't have him, but they could outscore lots of mistakes. But what I like about Knobloch in theory is that he does seem to be able to get this team to button down where it's important. The way I look at this Edmonton Oilers team is sort of like the Buffalo Sabres in the early 70s, where Punch Imlach would let Gilbert Perreault just fly, just go, man. And our defense and René Robert was the right winger. Will figure out a way to suppress the offense, and you and Richard Martin, you just go and score. And then Don Luce's line would come in, and they would just batten down the hatches. And for much of the time he's been coach, this team on the 3rd and 4th lines, they don't score a lot, but they don't give up as much. And this year they've been just bleeding chances and goals. Things are starting to come together. I'm very encouraged by it. The injuries are a concern, but I'm looking forward to tonight's game. And it's an early game. What time is our pregame today?
5 o'clock.
Okay, 5:00 Rock, and then the postgame as well.
Correct.
All right.
Not at 5 o'clock. Postgame's not at 5 o'clock.
Well, I think that would be inconvenient.
That would be slightly inconvenient.
You're putting the host in a bad situation. He doesn't know the score, and people expect him to.
Yeah, it's a tough beat.
I wouldn't want to do that at all. All right, NFL free agency. Are we happy? Are things moving quickly enough? Are you? Because it seems to me like all I'm seeing is like the Dickinson renegotiated a contract to give them more money. I assume that means Dallas Goedert's going to be signing with the Eagles, or maybe he already has.
That would be the implication. I haven't seen if he had. Like,
I haven't seen anything either. I mean, am I up to date every and all day?
No, that's Mackenzie's job.
Not as much as I should be, for sure.
Mackenzie's
But,
the one who is updated on everything.
I don't have any tweets from Schefter that's telling me.
What's going on, Mackenzie?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything. So,
Okay.
and
So,
I do
no-
like to think I'm fairly updated because I can just scroll
She's plugged
Twitter.
in.
I now believe there's nothing going on because she would know it.
That's right. How many of us here knew that Jason Kelsey was in town last weekend, or was in Winnipeg last weekend?
I
Aside
did.
from you, Mackenzie.
Oh.
Well,
Did any of us know that Jason Kelsey was north of the border?
no. I mean, what was he doing up there? Fishing?
No, he was seeing Connor Hallebuck in Winnipeg.
What are they, friends?
I guess so. I don't know.
Well, American hero Connor Hellebuck.
Oh,
Let me
I see.
tell
So
you.
it was like he just, maybe I could spend some time with you, buy a coffee, and some of that good vibes will.
They're at Leopold's.
Listen, how often you get to watch someone who won the Presidential Medal of Freedom do their thing?
This is
Pretty rare.
that whole thing is like, okay, let's not talk about it. But good job by Connor Hellebuck. I think we can all agree.
Unreal performance. Yeah.
Why
But
was he up
also,
here?
he knows, oh my gosh, the name is escaping me right now, but a guy that he played college football with
Zach
plays
Valeros.
plays for the Blue Bombers. So they're like still good friends.
Played at
Well, that
Cincinnati
makes
together.
perfect sense now.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
in the box at the Super Bowl when they beat the
Really?
Eagles. Yep.
Why do you bring that up? Why do you hurt me like this?
He might have been in the box too when they lost to the Eagles.
Oh, good.
So,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate that. How are we feeling about the Oilers today, ladies and germs?
I think it's a letdown spot. I think you just kind of
Mhm.
emptied the clip a little bit against Colorado, a very good Colorado team, unbelievable home record. I think this game against Dallas. Now, I'll say this as well. Like Dallas's lineup is depleted right
Yeah,
now. Like
everybody's beat up, but they are,
no
sure.
Rantanen, but they're on this incredible streak.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you get on these incredible streaks, even with a depleted roster, it's like it's one of those things where no one's thinking Dallas is a better team without the players they're missing, but everyone comes together and raises their game a little bit and plays to a certain level that gets you to this winning streak. I think Dallas has done that. I'm not like, I think on paper Edmonton probably should win this game roster for roster, but I just think all things factored in, the spot, I like Dallas tonight.
Okay. I'm going to very quickly just ask you to think about your last few days. I don't know if you guys have noticed the temperature's up and down. The weather's all over the place. I'm having a hard time sleeping because the weather is so weird. So, and the dogs are acting weird. Are you guys having the same problem or is it just Lowetide?
Nope, not just you.
Who do we talk? What government official can straighten out the damn weather?
Hey, I think next week it's supposed to be full on spring, isn't it?
I
We're
need
talking
it.
about lows of 0.
And when is Easter?
That's a great question. It changes every year.
I know. Can't they put it in one spot?
It's April 6th.
Okay.
Thank you. He knows
So-
because he goes to church.
Well, I know he's.
Yeah.
I know the drill, and you are going to be like busy that week.
So it's a lot of church, man.
You bet it
You're all
is.
welcome to join me, by the way.
Do you go to? Do
I
you go
went
to the
to church
midnight?
over
or-
Easter.
Oh
one
yeah.
time.
Well, the midnight. Yeah. So it's like the Saturday vigil.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
The long one.
Yeah.
Yeah. On
I was
Saturday.
baptized there. I was baptized at that.
Yeah. Me
Saturday
too.
night. It
So
was
so
very
was
cool.
I. Yeah. So
Yeah,
was I.
yeah.
Yeah.
Of course,
That's
I
the
was
thing.
much older. But
Yeah, because when you do RCIA,
Yep.
it happens then. Like you start
Yeah.
the program earlier, and Easter Vigil is when you get baptized. Yeah,
I learned so much in RCIA.
Yeah.
Father Claude took me through,
lovely.
and he was a white priest, and that meant he was in South Africa for most of his life.
Oh wow,
And he just was such a brilliant man. I was in awe of how smart and how kind he was.
yeah. Oh,
And
absolutely.
he had to be patient because he was teaching me.
Sure.
That was a big deal.
I'll tell you.
I mean, you pack a lunch to do that.
Do you ever?
Okay, on the way, rumors. We have Scott Wheeler from The Athletic at 12:40, 1 o'clock today. It's Bag Milk. And it's Declan CAA. Going to want to listen to that because we are counting down to the March Madness, and they're going to make the announcement on Sunday. So maybe he'll tell us what he thinks, and then we can laugh if he's wrong. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
The Jedi return to Rogers Place.
Saturday night, your Edmonton Oil Kings look to trap the Brandon Wheat Kings in Carbonite for the annual Star Wars game. Catch characters on the concourse for out-of-this-world selfies, Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. Plus, the Oil Kings will wear special Star Wars-themed jerseys that'll be auctioned and raffled off in support of Sorrentino's Compassion House. The Edmonton Oil Kings Star Wars game.
Saturday at 7. Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And directional drilling, hydro backing, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep, and yep. Since 2009, All Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All Star Construction is all about.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Ah, yes, Alberta in March. Green beer and slushy roads. Where the only thing worse than the roads is trusting them. If your brakes are squealing louder than a pub on game night, or your shocks feel like they found potholes instead of a pot of gold, it's time to go to Napa Auto Parts. With over 85 locations in Alberta, Napa has the quality parts, tools, equipment, and know-how to keep your ride smooth and feeling confident. More than lucky. Visit your local store today or visit online at napacanada.com. That's Napa Know-How.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick 1218. We actually took a break in normal time. We might be able to keep this show right on the rails for 2 hours. And then Gregor shows up and, well, I don't want to say. It's time for Rumors, brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. We believe you should create your own electricity. Let's build a brighter, sustainable future. GreatCanadianSolar.com. If you missed it, there are some lineup changes. First of all, don't panic. Connor Ingram isn't starting, but he's going to be the backup. He's well enough to be the backup. Ty Emerson is injured, and that is a concern. So Spencer Stastny draws in, and I'll give you the pairings and the lines in two shakes of a lamb's tail here. Adam Henrique back on the fourth line as well, and that means Doc is unavailable. So they've got enough to cover. They don't have to recall anybody, but there are some injuries of concern. Jarry starts, Ingram backs up. The pairings are Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Murphy, and Wallman Stastny. And then McDavid with Nuge and Hyman, Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Roslovic, Dickinson with Savoy and Kapanen, Szymanski with Henrique and Trent Frederick. Those are the lines and pairings tonight against Dallas. Early game. We have the pregame at 5 o'clock with Mr. Walker Steady Talker at 5-ish. Will Donovan be with him? Because that's a great combo. Yeah, there you go. Elsewhere in the National Hockey League, Calgary Flames signed a very valuable young college player, Tyler Gross, to an entry-level deal. This is via Eric Francis of Sportsnet. This is interesting. He's a local fellow, but he's was much recruited, and people wanted him. Calgary got another guy. I don't know how good he is. You never know with this stuff, but they got a guy everybody else was interested in. And there's nothing wrong with that. So good for the Flames. Maybe another decade or so, and they'll be good again. Although our learned friend, Josh, says they will win the Stanley Cup in 2029. It is my hope to hang around the radio broadcasting industry long enough to find out that doesn't happen, and then I will guffaw in his general direction at that time.
Hey, fair enough.
Yeah. Well done. That's twice today. You've really impressed me.
That being said, 2029 Stanley Cup champions.
Okay, take it all back. This year, the National Hockey League is not mad at teams. So the Ottawa Senators were due to forfeit their first-round selection as a result of failing to disclose Evgeny Dadonov's trade protection when sending him to the Golden Knights in 2021. The NHL has things that it does. And like some of it is like really not cool. Gary Young was the general manager of the California Golden Seals decades ago. And his owner was Charlie Finley, who was very out there. So Gary Young had made a good trade for a defenseman named Dick Redmond. And the WHA was coming in, and Young couldn't afford to lose Dick Redmond, but he couldn't get the owner to agree to the contract that Redmond demanded. So what Gary Young did, he solved it by signing 2 contracts. You see how that works. Dick gets the one contract, and then the owner gets the other one. I mean, it didn't work for very long, but the NHL has stuff that it does. Now, the Senators were supposed to pay with a first-round draft pick. And unlike when the Edmonton Oilers got screwed out of their draft pick in the James Neal, Milan Lucic trade, the NHL, as it did with Lou Lamoriello, surprisingly, Lou and Gary get along fabulous, happened years ago with the New Jersey Devils, and now it's happening with Ottawa. They're going to get their pick. They've got to send $1 million cash to Gary in small unmarked bills in an attaché case and leave it somewhere in Manhattan. I don't know where it is. Gary told them it'll be fine. But that's how it works. Now, you can say, friend, that how come the Oilers got screwed over? And I would tell you, you're right. And that is something that they should make good now. They could give the Oilers a 3rd-round pick now. Hell, boys, take Calgary's. Why not? But it won't happen. Good for Ottawa. I don't feel any rage in the cage towards them. I like the Ottawa Senators. I wish they were better. I think Steve Staios is doing good out there. Got to find a goalie. Just got to find a goalie. Don't know how long that'll take. It might take too long for Staios, and then they start all over again. It's the worst. It truly is the worst. Now, in Major Leagues of Baseball, I have a question for the group. The Americans got lucky because their dumbass manager didn't know the rules, and they had to rely on the Italians, and the Italians came through. Fortunately for them, a lot of the Italians are Americans. So the United States will play Canada tomorrow. So my question is, if the Canadian baseball team defeats the American baseball team in the World Baseball Classic, does that give you any sort of good feeling about
it's Canada's pastime now, baby?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Can we say, well, I know we lost the hockey Olympic gold and men and women, but at least we beat the bejesus out of them in baseball.
That tweet is locked and loaded in my drafts right now.
Okay.
Said it's Canada's pastime now, baby.
I like it. You know, Jackie Robinson started his not his career, but his career in organized white baseball with the Montreal Royals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like the idea of, as you say, taking it back.
Have to agree with you there.
All right. So just tell me the Eagles or tell me the 76ers are over. Just tell me. They're done. There's no chance. They're sinking like a stone. They have been thrown overboard with an anvil attached to their leg, a la Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show.
Well, you're like, yeah, but like the question was also, what was their ceiling? Like they're a playing team right now. You probably would have wanted them to be a top 6, but like what was the absolute best case scenario for the 76ers team? Like one playoff round one. Like when you compare where they are right now to expectations, they're kind of right on par. So it's like, what did you Did you think this was going to be a conference final?
No, I didn't think they'd do anything.
Right? Yeah,
I was hoping for a draft pick, but they probably traded it for a load of hay.
Nah, their draft position's not that bad. Like my thing with the 76ers is they really got to figure this Tyrese Maxey thing out. Because he's a really, really talented player, scores a lot, but they just don't win with him. And he's deep enough into his career where it's like, okay, if you're gonna be the number one, like you should probably start contributing to winning basketball,
right?
Not just great numbers,
right?
And you don't want to go because he is like a good player. You want him there, but it's just.
So the Hawks have won 7 games in a row.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was off topic.
No, don't worry about it. Steph is out for another 10 days. Jimmy Butler, what's going on? Is that another team that's sinking like a stone?
Yeah, they never really had a shot, unfortunately.
Right.
I mean, well, listen, when Jimmy played, like all their net ratings were incredible. Their numbers were through the roof, but it was just, like this team now, I mean, forget about it.
And that brings me to my favorite subject in the NBA, the Lakers. Oh, baby.
I'll tell you, man. What's your question?
Well, is this real? I mean, sometimes teams can go on a roll.
Luka needs to be in MVP conversations.
Nice.
No question about it. He's putting up like near a 33-point triple-double. Everyone calls him a fat, horrid defender. And we're forgetting like what this guy does offensively night and night. And here's the other thing, like when it's just him and Reeves on the court, the Lakers are 9-2. When LeBron's there, it's when LeBron, Reeves, and Luka play, it is the worst net rating of any combination of those three players. Like when Luka has a team that's kind of built for him, not the exact same way, but to a degree, like the Dallas Mavericks, he can get the Lakers to win. Like they're 40-win team right now. They're 40-25. Everyone wants to talk about how much of a defender he is, how much bad a defender he is, how much he complains to the refs. Well, sure, he needs to be in MVP convos.
Why doesn't the coach, when they say stuff like fat, bad defender, why doesn't the coach take what the player who says that aside and say, why don't you be nicer? Like, you don't look good in those colors, say, to Luka. And then it's not as offensive.
I think it's like the thing with Luka is he's so gifted offensively. It's kind of like that you shouldn't be mad at him for taking possessions off defensively, but people still do get mad at him for that. And I think a big part of that is it's LA. Like he had these exact same problems he had these exact same problems in Dallas, and it was just like, oh my goodness, how good is Luka?
Well, Kareem didn't race down the floor.
No, but I mean, like he at least had size for rim protection. Like, because the thing about like Luka, like he's not just a bad defender; he doesn't even try. Which you got like Steph Curry he's a bad defender, but he puts forth effort. Steve Nash, he was a bad defender, but he put forth effort. Luka just sits there and whines until he gets the ball back in his hands, and over dribbles it. Now, to his credit, he'll do something incredible.
Luka sounds a lot like you and I, and maybe Josh.
I'm just saying he's got to be top 5 MVP combo right now.
No, hey, that's fair. Also, shout out to the Clippers. By the way, they're 15 games under 500, and now they're above 500.
Very cool story.
First team in the NBA to ever do that. NBA history. My apologies.
There's been two teams officially eliminated from the playoffs, by the way, Sacramento and Indiana.
Okay.
Sorry, and in case of those of you who didn't watch the basketball report yesterday, the Kings winning on Tuesday was the craziest storyline out of the NBA.
One quick question, then I'm going to move on to another sport. But
Sure.
is James Harden playing at his usual alarmingly good on the way to another championship ring?
On his way to another championship ring.
Listen, James Harden is like top 10 regular season players ever.
He's played 90% of his career games.
And he's bottom 10 playoff performers ever. But you know what? He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Superstars.
So.
Yeah. I love watching him play. He's so cool, right? But doesn't show up.
He's a fun watch for sure.
Yeah.
Luka-esque.
Okay.
I have a really quick question.
Sure.
Because it was the Pacers and Thunder in the finals last year. So what happened to the Pacers that they've had such a fall
Tyrese
from
Halliburton
grass?
tore his Achilles.
Grace. Okay.
That's
enough.
I think that's really it.
They're going to come back next year with like a top 3 pick and be so good.
Yeah.
Does Milwaukee trade the big man this offseason?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
Okay.
Not to sound like an insider right now. They could, but I don't know. They might not do it.
See, if you want to sound like an insider, you have to do this. Could they do it? Sure. There's lots of reasons why they could. But on the other hand,
on the other hand, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Maybe they don't move him.
So all I know about the Eagles is they signed a DB that everybody likes, and that Landon Dickerson's contract has been changed. And I'm hoping that it's to bring my Dallas Goedert back to Philly.
Yeah, you like Dallas Goedert. I wouldn't say everyone likes Rick Woolen. He has his deficiencies, but Dallas Goedert, like he was a great tight end last year.
Oh, you got to remember, like they had Ertz, who was great, and then they went right to Goddard. And the rumor was that the Dallas Cowboys were going to draft Dallas Goedert, and the Eagles went in front and got him, which I love. So I know he's older, and tight ends fall off the face of the earth. I get that. I understand it.
Well, here's good news for you. The Eagles have signed free agent punter Braden Mann to a 4-year, $14 million extension.
I small h hate you right now, but that's okay.
What? You asked if the Eagles did anything.
Well, I was thinking it was going to be Goddard. We were talking about Goddard, and I thought you were going to slide in with that wonderful news, and now it's a punter. A punter, did you say?
Hey, it was your punter, Braden Mann. $7 million guaranteed on the deal.
Does when the team signs a kicker, is that news? Or is it like they took out the trash?
Depends on who the kicker is.
Okay.
If you're a guy like Brandon Aubrey, Justin Tucker back in his prime, same with Butker or Evan McPherson on Cincy, shout out. It would probably be like bigger.
Who's the best field goal kicker in Buffalo Bills history?
Oh man, I mean,
don't ask me.
Yeah,
Ask
that's
the Bills fan.
that's a great question. I don't know. Tyler Bass comes to mind. But maybe that's just recency bias. I'm sure there's a better one.
But by technicality, probably is, because field goal kickers just get so much better every like 5 years.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Who's the most famous kicker or infamous kicker in Buffalo Bills history?
Probably Tyler Bass.
Okay.
Wide right.
That's what I was trying to get you to say. Nobody would say
I
it.
wasn't alive for it though, so it's like I can pretend it hurts a little less.
But what I will say is that I've seen it twice in my life. The Vikings with Fran Tarkenton and Bud Grant, they lost 4, and then the Bills did. And you know what? It's not a good feeling for anybody.
But the Bills lost 4 in a row.
I know, but nobody enjoyed. I loved Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas. I loved them.
Yeah, I
And
imagine by like the 3rd year, they were
want
like,
them
"All
to
right,
win."
It's the Bills' time. And then was that the second Cowboys ring?
Yeah,
That
and they're
sucks.
just so bad, and they were a great team. They just didn't win. And I remember one of the Super Bowls, Thurman Thomas forgot his helmet, and I think they took a penalty right at the beginning of the game. And I'm like, oh my God, they're not prepared.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it is. Of course, we had your quarterback running down the field and fumbling the ball this year or so.
Not my quarterback.
Oh yeah, your quarterback is retiring.
But maybe not. Guess what the Bengals keep doing? Signing defensive players. Trey Hendrickson walks and they're like, Jonathan Allen, big dog, get over here. $28 million deal. As well as their other defensive moves. I can't remember everyone they've signed. But
how's the offensive line coming along?
Probably not very well. They extended Orlando Brown Jr., but if that's the only O-line move they make, I am going to have some serious issues.
Teams are funny. They just are. Of the quarterbacks who've moved so far, what situation do you like the best? For the quarterback and for the team?
It's a good question. That's a really good question. I mean, why do I want to say Malik Willis? Like, someone talk me out of Malik Willis.
Well, terrible O-line, bad defense, new head coach.
Who had a
Sure, but
losing
we're looking
record
for
at Boston
negatives.
College.
Jalen Waddle is his WR1. I don't know if Jalen Waddle's WR1.
Jalen Waddle's good.
Yeah, he's good. But is he
great?
Is he better than T. Higgins?
They're pretty similar players.
Yeah, and I wouldn't like this last year. I'm like, maybe T. Higgins isn't a WR1.
From here, who wins the Super Bowl? And I know it's too soon to know, but tell me anyway.
The Rams. Rams Bills finals.
Yeah, I like the Rams. I think that's a good early show.
Okay. All
They
right.
just addressed all the needs that they needed to address.
Is there anything we haven't covered before we take a break? Anybody?
So Bam scored 83, right? I don't know if you guys heard. Declan, I just want you to know. Bam Adebayo,
you'd
he
think
scored
that would have
83
gotten
points
some
in a game.
coverage.
So this is per Micah Adams on Twitter. Bam Adebayo broke math. His 83-point game was a 8.5 standard deviations above his career average, or 1 in 53 quadrillion.
Ooh.
Based on career averages, it is similar to Patrick Mahomes passing for 915 yards in a game, Justin Verlander throwing 214 pitches in a start, or Wilt Chamberlain grabbing 79 rebounds.
But
Just
we
a fun
know,
fact there.
we know after Josh talking yesterday that even if he did that, it would be kind of overrated for Wilt. And,
Yeah,
you know,
true. True.
You know, I'm so thankful that I've been told by you, Josh, that Wilt was over.
A tad
overrated.
over. Oh my God.
I mean, I didn't know.
I can't wait to
looked
talk
at the
to-
numbers.
I can't wait to talk to Paul about this because, again, I never got to see him play. So
didn't
all
know.
I have to go off of is what I can find.
But you know, you didn't see him play, and that did not stop you from making a Wild claim. And that, sir, is what's going to keep you in broadcasting.
He was 5 inches taller than his next closest competition in the 60s. No, never mind. It's not worth it.
You should have seen him get into that Volkswagen. All right, Scott Wheeler on the way. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Are you looking for safe and professional transportation solutions for your group events and sports teams? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French. Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
Out for Giroux. Giroux hands it over to Shabbat. Measured by Anderson. Stutzla to Shabbat. A drive. Straight save by Giroux. Holy crap, the pen. And an excellence. Dans le centre. René le disque à Doc. Doc est arrêté. Et voilà une Outs remaining for Oklahoma City. Hornets have one. Gilgis Alexander. Long two. Goodness. Shea Gilgis Alexander. That's a
rating by going bigger.
Make that smaller. Way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, McCarr, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved equipment auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved equipment auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
She played the fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick, 1241. Love that we're on time today. That's fabulous. Joined by Scott Wheeler, writes for The Athletic and is a trusted prospect guru who does this every year. And we follow him closely because he is interesting and gets it right. Scott, thanks. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on, and the kind words off the top, pumping my tires like that.
Now, I really do. I love what you do, and I read it voraciously, and I knew the Oilers would be at the bottom. They're 30. That's not a surprise. But I want to start here because I thought that you're very eloquent. I still remember a brilliant article you wrote about Evan Bouchard that predicted everything that was going to happen afterwards, and you did it, I think, either right before or right after the 2018 draft. So I've sort of known what the road was going to look like with Bouchard. I know that you've been on Ike Howard's side in terms of where he was going to go in the first round and what he brought. But for some Oiler fans who are maybe a little discouraged with how things have gone this year, have you changed or altered your view on Ike Howard in the last year?
I think I've softened on him a little bit at the pro level, just watching him play between the AHL and the NHL this season. But I don't think any of the challenges that he's faced are particularly surprising, despite the fact that he was a Hobey Baker winner. First, Hobey Baker winners don't actually have a great track record of success in the NHL. And second, he was a bit of a surprise Hobey Baker winner. He wasn't I would have qualified Ryan Leonard as the front runner going into those Hobey conversations that the panel would have had. And I think he emerged because of a couple of things, because of the separation between him and his teammates. He outproduced his nearest teammate, I believe it was by 20 points last season or close, certainly double-digit points at Michigan State, which is one of the top teams in the country. They always care about that when you kind of do it yourself, if you will, in college hockey. Certainly, I've been a fan of Ike's over the years. I viewed him as a first rounder when he was taken at the end of the first, as you mentioned off the top, by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Believed, despite a sort of slow, difficult start to his college career at his original commitment to Minnesota Duluth, believed that he was going to turn it around. That then happened with 2 excellent seasons to finish his college career after a transfer to Michigan State. But he was always kind of the 5'10 and a half, 5'11 winger who could score goals and skate and attack on the flank on the power play and make some plays, but wasn't the competitive engine of his line and didn't break open games as consistently as true high-end types at that 5'11", 6-foot height range do in terms of the absolute going to project in the NHL types. So there was always wonder about, okay, is there going to be, similar to how there was a learning curve for him at the NTDP, even though he led the NTDP twice in scoring in a loaded age group that people will remember had Cutter Gauthier and Logan Cooley, and you go down the list, Jimmy Snuggerud, Frank Nazar. Despite that, there was a bit of a learning curve for him at the NTDP, and then there was a bit of a learning curve for him in college, and there's been a bit of a learning curve for him at the pro game. I still believe that Ike is going to become a sort of middle 6, 20-goal power play type of winger in the NHL. There are some who fear that he might become a bit of a quadruple A guy, someone who scores a ton in the AHL and points a lot in the AHL, but maybe never quite carves out a true sort of top 6 role. He's kind of a top 6 or bust guy, but I could see him as kind of a middle 6 winger who scores 20 goals and contributes, and maybe has 1 or 2 years over the course of his career where he pops a little bit more with the right line mates. But it was always going to take him a little bit more time. He's worked very, very hard to become a little bit more competitive, a little bit more committed off the puck, a little bit more consistent shift to shift. Those became real hallmarks, frankly, of his game as a senior at Michigan State. He put a ton of time and energy into it with that coaching staff there. And now it's just about sort of earning the trust of another set of coaches and figuring it out. I do think he's still going to get there and be a sort of secondary scorer in the NHL, though.
My fear originally was, they had traded for Savoy, and he's up now. And Savoy's he's a very good 200-foot player. He's improving weekly here in terms of play without the puck, and he kills penalties. He feels,
skater.
he feels like he's on his way. But he's a thinner fellow. He's not, Kata Yamamoto, but he's not big. But Howard is not tall, but he's a little thicker than Savoy. So some Oilers fans are worried that you can't have, very many undersized wingers, and Nuge isn't big. But Howard, he's a different style, but he's also a different physical body than Savoy.
Yeah, there are some definite separations there. Matt's game, dating back to his WHL days, and even before that, when we started hearing about him looking into exceptional status out of minor hockey and that kind of a thing, has always been about pace and energy and his skating. He's a very talented player as well, and was obviously a very productive player in the USHL and the WHL. But it was real, like there was always an effort level there. There was always a stick-to-itiveness, a go-getter sort of mentality to Savoy's game. And Ike that's never really been his MO. I don't think he's soft or lazy. I wouldn't qualify him that way. He wants to be good. He wants to make a difference out there. He tries out there. But he just doesn't have maybe that same drive as Savoy. And I remember talking to you on air shortly after they successfully signed Howard, and we both sort of hinted at the fact that this might be coming, that there might only this year there might only be room for one of them as a sort of full-time regular on the roster.
Scott Wheeler, our guest from The Athletic on Sports 1440 and the Lowdown with Lowetide. Oilers prospect list is out. I won't give too much of it away, but I'm interested in the players that you have listed. Whenever I watch the Condors, I am just amazed at Bo Akey's not just forward speed, but lateral everywhere speed. I still worry about his size and maybe injury a little bit, but he really is a fantastic skater.
Yeah, they're the 30th ranked pool. There's not a lot other than Ike, and had Savoy been included, there's not a lot other than those two young pieces within the organization right now. And then some of the other free agents that they've signed, like a Quinn Hudson, just didn't qualify from the U23 age cutoff that I have on my project. So it's a pretty thin group. And so you go from Mike and you start to look at the rest of the pool and say, okay, who has a defining trait? And there isn't a lot of that within this group. Asher Barnett's a good college player and was a good junior defenseman for the NTDP. David Lewandowski is a very good junior player, but a little vanilla, and you're not sure what he's going to be at the pro level. You go down the list. Paul Fisher feels the same way at Notre Dame a little bit. But Bo Akey has always had that defeat, and that has carried him a long way. The injury troubles and the injury history, as you kind of hinted at, are real. He spent much of the last 2 seasons of his junior career banged up with a litany of different injuries, including a puck to the face that obviously is just bad luck. But it's followed him, and at 6 feet, 5'11", 6 feet, you really need to have that defining quality. Now, will his skating carry him to the NHL? I don't know. He's not a super hard sort of physical type. Like, he doesn't check that box. And then offensively, he's not a dynamic creator or offensive type either. So maybe he's just sort of number 6, 7, 8 someday, whose feet sort of get him into the NHL as a 5-on-5 guy. I think that's what you're sort of building towards with Akey.
And it's like there's a lot of there's several players on this list that are what I would consider to be, long shots. Certainly they don't have draft pedigree, but I that's probably what you're looking for. And I was fascinated. I just a very well-written piece on Dalen Wakely, who is a player that would be easy to overlook if you're an Oilers fan, but you feel like there might be something there, maybe not like at the highest end, but that's a player worth paying attention to.
Yeah, Wakely kind of flew under the radar a little bit in his junior hockey days. I find, frankly, just that players who play for the North Bay Battalion do a little bit. It's not the most common destination for NHL scouts to get out to. It's not the most common destination for us in the media world in Ontario to get out to and tell the stories of their kids and that kind of a thing. But Wakely, especially in his I believe it was his third year in North Bay before he was traded to Barrie for his final year of junior hockey, sort of really established himself as a 100-point player in the league and broke 100 points, but it was the way he did it that sort of struck me. He did it almost entirely at even strength. He was one of the most productive players in the league at even strength. And whenever you do that, it sort of piques my interest a little bit. He is on the older side for a first-year freshman. Obviously, that means that he didn't get signed out of his 4 years in the OHL and had to go the college route. He's at UMass Lowell and has had a good freshman year at UMass. They're not a top program. They're not known for producing NHL talent, but he's been one of their 4 or 5 better players and has been that as a freshman. He's a pretty competitive kid. I still think we're talking about a long shot. Like I believe he's already 22, which means if he plays his sophomore and then maybe a junior year, you're looking at 23, 24, and those guys don't tend to get entry-level contracts. So you're maybe looking at an AHL contract and a player who has to play through the ECHL and the AHL to earn an ELC and that kind of a thing. So certainly a long shot, but has always sort of found ways to contribute and to make things happen. And then on top of that, I think he's like 6'1" and 200 or something pounds. So he's not a small skill guy who was just a junior scorer. Like there's a little bit of something there, maybe.
So before we let you go, Scott, the Oilers had to do something, and they did. They signed. You mentioned Carfagna earlier, but they signed Josh Szymanski. They signed Quinn Hudson, some college guys, some Euro guys. Most of them don't qualify for your list, but they are playing in Bakersfield and doing pretty well. And some of them, like Szymanski's up now, and Hudson was earlier. Those bets that are made are I think they're reasonable for Edmonton, maybe not for every team. But it's a matter of your European scouts, your pro scouts see something and they go, maybe this will work, and you've got to get them into the system, that being Bakersfield. How do you think they did based on, the year that Szymanski and Hudson and others have had since they signed?
I think they did well, all things considered. It's the right dedication of resources, if you will, for them. They haven't and aren't going to have a ton of picks and prospects through the draft process in recent years or in coming years. It's just not a priority for them, nor should it be, frankly, as long as Connor McDavid's in town and they want to continue to pursue adding around him, which I think is for better or worse, even if they're not having the year this year that they're used to having, I think is almost has to be the approach there. And as a result, you turn it over maybe a little bit more to your pro scouts than your amateur scouts. And you say, okay, what is out there in Europe? What is available to us to fill some of our 50 roster slots, to round out the AHL organization and make it a little bit more competitive for call-ups and for sort of bottom of the lineup jobs. And guys like Hudson really fit that. Hudson in particular, I think, has a real chance to be a regular everyday NHL player at this eventually. There's others that they've tried with, like James Stefan and others that just haven't really worked. But you keep throwing darts, you keep extending olive branches to some of those agents, and you might get a guy into your organization that gives you a chance, right? And gives you just a little bit more depth. Hudson in particular, I mean, you mentioned Szymanski. Szymanski is kind of what he is. I don't envision him being more than a sort of tweener call-up type. But I think Hudson might have a little bit more than that in him. And I liked the decision to go out and target him. And I've heard that they're involved on multiple of the free agents this year as well. So I think it's going to continue to be something that sort of new staff there focuses in on. And I know Kalle Larsson and a couple of other people who are involved in that process heavily from previous lives that they had in the junior and college worlds. And a lot of respect for a couple of the people who are involved in that process for the Oilers. So I think they're in good hands in terms of those sort of free agent targets.
I couldn't let this moment pass without asking you about the Calgary Flames signing Tyson Gross today, a name that we had heard and that had been pursued by several NHL teams. He's local. He's from Calgary, St. Cloud State captain. What kind of player, it pains me to ask you this because I'm on an Edmonton radio station, but I feel in the interest of, the fact that you're on the show, what kind of player is Tyson Gross? And if any, is he close to NHL ready?
Well, he's going to get a chance. That's typically the way that these signings go. You're almost guaranteed to play in the spring. That doesn't mean he makes their roster. If he plays games in the next couple of weeks here and plays 7 or 8, that doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to be a shoo-in to make the roster in camp next year, and he'll have to earn that. But they do typically, almost all of those players get at least an immediate look in the NHL after they've signed. Gross is an interesting one. He was not a name prospect in his junior days. He was kind of slow through the AJHL, got caught up in the pandemic a little bit in terms of just his timeline and where he was at in junior. Then he plays for, I believe it was 2 different USHL teams in 2 years, and was a good player in the USHL when he committed to St. Cloud, but wasn't like a draftable player or someone who was on the radar for what he now has, which is an entry-level contract in the NHL. Then he goes to St. Cloud State and he had a really good freshman year 3 years ago. I think he was a junior this year. So a really good freshman year 3 years ago. And he's got size, and he's smart, and he's competitive, and he understands the details of the game. And he started to produce, and he was above a point per game this year and just below a point per game in the 2 previous seasons at St. Cloud. So just a smart player. He's a decent athlete. He has never scored a ton in terms of the goal category. Like, he's never been much of a shooter. I think he almost touched 20 goals this year, which is obviously a high benchmark in college hockey and really the barometer of a good scoring season in college hockey. But that was never his game at lower levels. He was always sort of more of a thinker, right place, right time type. I think there's a little bit of risk there that he just becomes maybe like a second line AHL player. Like, this isn't a surefire guaranteed NHLer, but he's the kind of player that the Flames should be after. A local boy, I'm sure excited to play for his hometown team, and a legit worthy entry-level contract type of college player.
Thanks so much for this. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
There you go. Scott Wheeler from The Athletic. It's 12:58 on the way. We'll be talking to Bag Milk about the game tonight, the Edmonton Oilers, and the road trip, and the one that might be, turning the corner for this team after what was a terrible February. March looking much better. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Mackenzie.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom at 11577 149th Street, now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2, or visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. 14 games in the NHL tonight. Oilers take on the Stars at 6. Jarry gets the start, and we've got pregame coverage with Andrew Walker starting at 5. Sharks meet the Bruins at TD Garden. Flames are in New Jersey. Jets host the Rangers. Preds take on Vancouver. Golden Knights look to bounce back against the Penguins. Colorado and Seattle have the late slate. 9 games in the association. 76ers and Pistons tip off at 5 at Little Caesars. Hawks host the Nets. Spurs take on the Nuggets. OKC meet the Celtics. Chicago and Lakers have the nightcap. In the NFL offseason, former Baltimore Ravens backup running back Keaton Mitchell is signing a 2-year deal with the Chargers for $9.25 million, including $5 million guaranteed. The Players' Championship is underway. McNeely, Thomas, and Henley are leading the charge. Canadians in the tournament, Kerry Connors is tied for 16th, and Nick Taylor is tied for 57th. I'm Mackenzie, and that's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. The KJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
The Jedi return to Rogers Place.
Saturday night, your Edmonton Oil Kings look to trap the Brandon Wheat Kings in Carbonite for the annual Star Wars game. Catch characters on the concourse for out-of-this-world selfies, Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. Plus, the Oil Kings will wear special Star Wars-themed jerseys that'll be auctioned and raffled off in support of Sorrentino's Compassion House. The Edmonton Oil Kings Star Wars game.
Saturday at 7. Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started. Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Say, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca and let's get to work for you.
For 50 years, the Selby Group has been building trusted homes and strong communities. This year, we're celebrating that milestone with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss. Discover Hillshire by Selby Group, beautifully designed homes in a community built for the way you live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Selby Group at Hillshire. Visit selvygroup.com or stop by Hillshire today.
What's some non-Nissan drivers here?
Nightmares, flurries out of the Northwest today, looking like a horror movie.
What Nissan drivers here?
It's a glorious day out there.
Get a Nissan Kicks S all-wheel drive for $398 monthly at 2.9% with $0 down. Built, tested, and trusted to conquer Canada's harsh winters. Visit Nissan.ca for details. 60 months, conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
.140 or so. We have an open segment after this one, but right now we're delighted to welcome to the show Bagged Milk from Oilers Nation. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Al. How are you doing?
I'm good, except I would like the weather to just make up its cotton-picking mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will admit to you here now, I was not prepared for the weather when I left my house today. My jacket is not appropriate for what we've got going on outside. So, yeah, it would be nice if we could just kind of make it through into whenever spring is actually going to arrive.
I've reached a point this winter / spring that I have a series of hoodies. And what I do is when I take the dog out in the morning, I make a decision whether it's going to be the winter hoodie, the mid-level hoodie, or the spring one. And today I'm actually in midwinter mode, and I think that's the best way. But it's tough because I think there are people, and I am one of them, who don't really pay any attention to weather. We just think, I got this.
That was me this morning. That was exactly what happened when I left the house, because it was nice yesterday when I got home and when I took my dog for a walk. And when I left today, not so much with the blowing snow and the cold. So the joys of living in Edmonton, I suppose.
Yeah, and if you're an Oilers fan, you don't really care about the weather so much, but you're loving how well the Edmonton Oilers are playing. That game in Denver the other night has really ignited the fan base, who were kind of down over February and early March when the record wasn't very good, and frankly, they weren't playing very well. But there's 2 wins in a row here, and Dallas is going to be a tough one, no doubt about it. But a little bit of a roll here, and we've seen that from Chris Knobloch's teams in past years, not so much in this one.
Yeah, and it's been interesting because it's just amazing how much a few days can make a big difference, right? Like on Friday night when they lost to Carolina 6-3, they did not look like they were in that game really at all. I thought the score was actually more generous to the Oilers than it could have been. And then they hit the road for those first 2 games of this 4-game trip, and then they pull out a big win in in Vegas, I should say. And I thought that the team played probably its best game as a whole in quite a while. And then you rolled into Colorado. I was nervous. I admit I was nervous about how that game was going to go. When Colorado scored, 30-odd seconds into the game, I went, oh boy, here we go. But to the boys' credit, they did not fold their hand. They kept after it. They stayed structured. They played sound defensively, and they ended up pulling out what was a massive regulation win. So to start off this road trip with 2 big wins against 2 good teams, I know Vegas is struggling a little bit, but 2 good teams, that's got to be a positive. And I hope it's one that the team can take away, because now we're talking about, since the calendar flipped over to March, we got 3 wins in 4 games. All of a sudden, that's kind of like a point where you can get excited a little bit.
And we do know that, once the deadline hits, you're sort of locked and loaded. They have better depth this year, but maybe not on defense. So the Ty Emberson injury is one to pay attention to. He's out of the lineup tonight. But they did pick up the big defenseman from Chicago, and obviously Dickinson as well. And Doc, are you, now that we've seen these players for a few games, how do you feel about the acquisitions from the Hawks?
Well, I'll start with Connor Murphy because he was the first to land. I think about this segment that we do together, Al, every Thursday and have for a few years now. And you asked me in the weeks and months leading up to the trade deadline, what kind of player would you like to get? And my answer was always like, I don't know who the guy is, but I want Jason Smith. And well, I think Connor Murphy is, no one's as mean as Jason Smith was. That's an outlier of outlier. He was just a grizzly defenseman back there. But the idea of taking care of his own zone, using physicality when you need to, defending the house, blocking guys out, that's what Connor Murphy has kind of done so far in the first 3 games. And has it been perfect? No, but he's still learning a new structure and a new team. And it's been really interesting from my perspective to see that Chris Knobloch's throwing him out there, like, get over the boards. He had the 2nd most minutes of any defenseman, I believe, if I remember correctly, the other night against Colorado, or maybe it's Vegas. But anyway, he's playing some big minutes right now, and he is the exact kind of guy that I was looking for in terms of a steady defensive defenseman. And I would also say that his puck moving is a little better than I was expecting. I kind of went with a very low bar. Shifting over to Jason Dickinson, I love that acquisition. The cost of it, you can debate, of course, but the player itself, I just think he's such a good fit for what the Oilers were looking for. They haven't had a shutdown line in forever that I can remember. And he's that exact guy. And if he can fill in those 12 to 15 minutes of sound two-way hockey, maybe a little bit of offense if we're greedy, but mostly taking care of his own zone, really, really like it. As for Colton Dach, unfortunately, we only got about 16 or so minutes of action with him through the 3 games that he played. But I liked what I saw with him using his body, throwing his body around. He was physical. He was mixing it up. And I think that, for a 4th line that needs to find some identity, I thought that he was a nice add-in on that. So all in all, I think the 3 players from Chicago have had first impressions that were solid. And specifically Connor Murphy and Jason Dickinson, I've quite enjoyed watching them play so far. I think they just make this team a little bit harder to play against. And I think the Oilers needed a big dose of that.
I agree. And I think that I was a little worried the other night when McKinnon ran Connor Ingram, because you've kind of set your goaltending, and Calvin Pickard could be recalled, but he's not been fabulous down there. Ingram has looked really good. As it turned out, Jarry played the 3rd period. He's starting tonight. Ingram is feeling well enough to back up this evening. So from that point of view, some pretty good news for the Edmonton Oilers in net.
Yeah, I mean, I put my hand up. I'll be the first to admit that when Connor Ingram went down, I was nervous about how Jarry would perform. Not only just because he was coming in cold off the bench, which is a tricky spot to go in for a goaltender in the first place, but just because the road has been bumpy for him the last little while. And so I was really nervous about how that was going to go. And the fact that, I mean, within seconds of him appearing in the net, he got two really good looks on him and made some big saves. So I think Tristan Jarry, despite the fact that he only played a third of the game, deserves a lot of credit for the way that win went down. He was really solid for the Oilers. And I think even the one goal he did allow, you don't hang a deflection from the slot on your goalie when it beats him up over the shoulder like that. That's just really good execution on the Colorado Avalanche's part. So really, really nice performance and relief for Jarry. And I'm hoping it can be the start or at least a first step towards better days.
It's a grind all year. This year has really felt different. And part of it is they have more youth infused in this roster. But I think that when you invest in young players, you hope that they turn a corner. In your opinion, has he? And if so, how much has Matt Savoy turned a corner here this year?
I really, really like this player. And I think I've been saying it pretty consistently all year, at least when we do the hits together, that I really, really appreciate how smart he is as a player. I think that he's got really good instincts. I think he's quick. I think he's got good hands. He's usually in the right spot at the right time more often than not. And I think that's super helpful. And we're also talking about a player here who this is his first NHL season. And it takes a minute to kind of figure it out. And it takes a minute to learn how to play at this level. And I think down the stretch, specifically post-Olympic break, Matt Savoy has looked really, really good. The points are starting to follow him a little bit. But all of a sudden, we've got 10 goals and 15 assists for 25 points through 65 games. Is that maybe as high as we were hoping? Probably not. But I think that he's really turning it on down the stretch here. And if he can get going on the offensive side to match his play on the ice, I think we've got a real winner here. And it's going to take some time. We're still talking about a very, very young man who I believe just turned 22 at the beginning of January. So there's a lot of learning left for Matt Savoy, but I think he's picking up a lot of it on the fly. And I think we're going to love this player for a very long time.
So changing subjects a little bit, Canada is through at the World Baseball Classic, and it's been on, the broadcasts have been on pretty much constantly here in the last while. And I'm wondering if you've watched much of it and if you're cheering for Canada and how much of an impact it's having over there.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the games on over here at Nation HQ anytime they're on, even when it's not Canada playing, we still got it on. So I really like these short tournaments, and I really like the World Baseball Classic, and I really like the drama between the USA and Italy the other night. And I thought it was really fun to see a short tournament come together like this, and to have Canada advances to the quarters. I think that's a big, big opportunity for them. And to face the US, I think that's an opportunity to do the funniest possible thing, isn't it? I mean, the USA just beat Canada in the Olympics for hockey. Wouldn't it be great if the World Baseball Classic, we just gave them a dose of their own medicine in their own sport? I think it'd be great. But as a whole, I love seeing the guys come together. I love seeing how much fun everybody seems to be having at the tournament. And the baseball has been great. So what's not to like about the World Baseball Classic?
All right. How's the dog doing?
Well, the dog is doing well, Al. He has now won 3 games in a row.
Nice.
So we are back up over 500 for Frank's picks. He had a rough stretch there, but we had a hard talk during the Olympic break, and we told him, listen, the others need to pick it up down the stretch, and so do you, Frank. And he took that very much to heart. He did a lot of studying over the break, Al. A lot of reading, a lot of analysis.
Love it.
So to see him come back with 3 straight wins, that's a big moment for the dog. Let's see if Frank can go for 4 tonight. Against the Stars.
Can't wait. All right. Thanks for this. Say hi to your dog for me and be good.
Always well. Thanks, Al.
There you go. Bag milk from Oilers Nation. Mackenzie, do you have a dog or did you grow up with a dog?
I did grow up with a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have one currently because I live in a basement suite.
Okay.
And neither me or Dylan are home enough.
So wouldn't be fair to the dog.
No.
Right. That makes sense.
But I grew up with a Shih Tzu. Her name was Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Yep. And then my mom and stepdad, they have a black lab right now. His name's Forrest.
Forrest? Oh, my God. So I have a Shih Tzu Pom. Her name is Ziggy. She's 14. And she's not, she's She's not 100%, but they're such a joy. They really are. And I had a lab too, black lab with kind of golden eyebrows named Colby after the cheese. My family was big fans of cheese. So now tell me about this Labrador that is running around. Goofy, very loyal, fun-loving, wags his tail, and you probably get injured from the wag?
Yeah, he is kind of insane, honestly. Like, he loves everybody and just wants to show that love. And sometimes I'm like, man, I just want to sit on the couch. But he really loves males. So Dylan, he like attacks him every time we walk through the door.
Nice.
And Dylan's a bit of a gentler soul than the rest of us. So he knows that he can like climb up on Dylan and he's not going to push him off. He can lick his face and he'll just take it. So yeah.
Well, not only the dog, but Dylan sounds like a great person. So well done. Well done. Now, let me ask you this. Before we take a break, what was the name of your dog, Josh?
My dog currently, my parents' dog?
Yeah.
Morgan.
Morgan.
Sweet little thing.
How's Morgan doing? Because last time we were a little worried about Morgan the last time we talked about Morgan.
Yeah, because she had a little bit of an accident in the basement involving her claws. She's doing much better, it sounds like. There are some talks about whether or not I would be taking Morgan, just with things going on at home and everyone moving up in their lives and whatever. And do my parents want a dog around the house, all these things. And so we've finally elected, no, they'll just keep the dog.
Yeah, it's tough because like cats are 20 years, dogs are 15.
Yeah.
And Karen has a Clifford, gigantic dog.
Nice.
Who's like 7 and Ziggy's like 14. So we made a decision that we're not going to have any more dogs. But that's hard because I love dogs.
That's fair. If I ever get a dog, you can hang out with he or her as much as you would like.
That might be a way for me to come over to your house if you've got a dog. That would be
fair enough.
I would visit.
I'll make sure there's Crown and ginger ale if that happens.
I'll go to your house to see the dog. Okay, we'll take a break. On the way, we'll talk about the Oilers, NFL, MLB, and more. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
As the Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports, at least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Carius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
The Price is Right Live is at the Brick. Come on down to any Brick location for your chance to win over $300,000 in prizes. They're giving away shopping sprees, mattresses, appliance packages, big screen TVs, and so much more. Plus, this Saturday, play for up to $1,000 off your purchase. Everyone who makes a purchase is a winner. The price is always right at the Brick. The Brick, saving you more. Conditions apply. See you in store for details.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved equipment auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved equipment auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440. Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Mike said, give your dogs extra love. I lost my first dog, Lola, 13 years, 10 days ago. She was the best. Dogs are amazing. They really are. I mean, they are family, and they feel as much emotion or more than we do, and they're extremely loyal. And Ziggy is kind of hilarious right now. She doesn't see or hear well. And so she's she's kind of like me. We're sort of a team now, right? You know, walking into walls and, you know, barking. So it's quite the deal, but she is a delight. I'm reading, so just so you guys know, I haven't given up on you. Connor Brown would have been a perfect right winger for Dickinson. Yeah, I get it, but again, it was about money, right? You know, like the Oilers didn't feel like they had that money to spend. They wanted to make some room for Savoy and Mike Howard. It turned out it was a room for Savoy, not so much Howard. And they did sign Trent Frederick, and they were signing Frederick because more physical, and he is rounding into form now. So I mean. It's coming. It's just, you know, it took a little while to arrive. Phil says, who are Scott's top 5 teams in his rankings? Well, the way Scott does it is he counts down from 32 to 1. So we don't have that information yet, but it'll be coming in the next while. I think it takes A couple of weeks, maybe a little longer than that. Lowetide, can you ask Wheeler about Fisher and Peter Hauser? Where's Beruskin? Beruskin's over 23. We did talk a little bit about Fisher. Hauser, I do not think is on the radar, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm wrong. Scott Norwood is the answer, and then somebody else said Steve Christie. So it would be Norwood, right? Like the most infamous kicker for Buffalo?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. Hate to bring the name up. It's a little bit like an Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, when they were...
Do not go in there?
No, what was the name of the character?
Ace Ventura?
No, the kicker or the holder. Laces out. I thought someone would have known.
I don't. I do like Jim Carrey movies. He's silly.
He's great.
Truman Show's great.
Unbelievable movie.
Best Jim Carrey movie.
It's probably Truman Show. Not to just completely parrot.
What about Sunshine of the
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? Yeah. That would be up in a lot of people's letterbox top 4, probably.
I like the
Dumb and Dumber though is just so fun.
What's the one where he can't tell a lie? He's so funny.
Liar.
God,
he got the first $20 million paycheck for that movie.
Yeah. That was brilliant. And he was in The Mask, was he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
His 94 had Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. Like, what a year. What a year.
Do not go in there. I mean, it's grade 4 humor, but it was really funny.
Or Cameron Diaz got her start too.
Really?
In The Mask, yeah.
94, great year for Jim Carrey. 2014, that was a great year for Matthew McConaughey.
No.
Yeah, Dallas Buyers Club, Wolf of Wall Street, and Interstellar.
94 was Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, and
Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Lion King as well.
That was a great year for movies.
Just all around.
Probably the best year.
Yeah. Wasn't she in Something Wild About Mary?
Something About Mary?
Something About Mary. Yeah.
She was married.
She was married, yeah.
Should we do a movie bracket leading up to March Madness?
Oh
boy, well, we could do that, but I mean,
March Madness.
Josh's would just
Oscars.
be, one actor in all the movies he's been in. Then we'd get down to the number one movie by that actor.
We'd have to limit it to Brad Pitt movies.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's it.
whoa, hey.
A river runs through it.
That's fine.
A Brad Pitt bracket would be like that's a lot of good movies.
It's a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Fight Club, Inglourious Bastards, Moneyball, Ocean's 11, River Runs Through It. He was in 12 Monkeys, right?
Yeah, he was in
7.
12 Monkeys. F1 just recently in the best Us.
I like the
best picture
one.
combo.
I like the one about where he's on the roof in Los Angeles. It's long, but it's good. I liked World War Z.
It's a good movie.
Are you sure you're not convincing that Brad Pitt movie with The Hangover? Because there is a guy on the roof for the entire movie of The Hangover.
It's the movie about Los Angeles in the 60s.
Once
and
Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah. He's not on the roof.
I like that movie.
I mean, he is on the roof. I thought you meant on the roof for a long time. I was like, I don't know if he's ever had a movie like that.
Shout out everyone on the text line for getting Ray Finkel back to me from the Ace Ventura reference.
Oh, they're good that way. They're pretty good.
You're going to talk yourself into being a Brad Pitt guy.
No, I'm not. Not a chance. Look, what's his doodle?
Yes, what's his doodle?
The great actor who I always bring up when you bring up Brad Pitt.
Daniel Day-Lewis?
Philip Seymour.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Different
that's
actors.
Very
great.
different.
No, but I mean, come on.
I got the same amount of Oscars for acting.
I'm not saying Brad Pitt's a bad actor. I don't think he's.
But like, we're not. I never compared Brad Pitt to Philip Seymour Hoffman because, quite frankly, I think Philip Seymour Hoffman's one of the greatest to ever do it.
Well, I understand, but it's like if we just agreed on things, there'd be no show.
Yeah,
I know.
Right.
But you also created false narratives that I was like, Brad Pitt's the greatest actor of all time.
Which
and we're
you've
taking
said
this from
many
the guy
times.
who mixed up Luke Bryan and Zach Bryan. So
did I mention I'm a lot like Ziggy? Me, myself, and Irene. There you go. We lost our Akita almost 2 years ago. Kuba, he was my shadow when I was home. We're flying to Warsaw, Poland in 2 weeks to pick up a new Akita, already named Zosiah? How would we say that? And bring her back to Canada. I can't wait from Patty and Spruce. Dogs, man. I'm so disappointed that we can't have another dog. But, you have to be responsible for the dog, right? You bring a dog into the house and you're not able to care for the dog in a few years. What are you going to do? Maybe I could bring it to the station and then run away. That'd be good. That's not a bad idea.
What? Bringing a dog in here?
No, but I would bring the dog in and then I would just take off.
I'd take it home with me.
That's what I'm saying. There's not a chance with the people in this building. There's not a chance that dog would suffer a day. They might miss me for a while.
Huh.
Yeah. I can't do that with Ziggy, though. We've been through too much. I got into fly fishing from A River Runs Through It. That's a gorgeously filmed movie. It really is.
Buddy I worked with at Brewhouse looked at me one time. He said, "Oh, I got fly fishing gear for Christmas." I was like, "Oh, you're a big fly fisherman?" He's like, "Not yet." Didn't even have a fisherman's license or anything.
Love it.
His dad just got him fly fishing gear. He's like, "So I guess I'm going to go fly fishing this summer." I don't know.
That is awesome. Jim Carrey's best movie was Man on the Moon. I think the Spotless Mind one is. I love Truman Show. I love Liar Liar. Ace Ventura is really good, but I don't know. I just really like him as an actor. And he's very funny too. I don't know. Maybe I'm a fan of Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Good Canadian boy.
Also, Bruce Almighty.
Yep.
Great one.
John says Brad Pitt is to Lowetide as Wilt Chamberlain is to Josh.
I don't think I hate Wilt Chamberlain that much.
I don't hate Brad Pitt.
Sure sounds like you do.
No, you name a movie and Moneyball. I don't care about his problems. He should be better to his daughter, but that's not the point.
And
all the funny lines.
His daughter. What are we talking about?
Funny lines were done by the scouts and the analyst guy.
Why are you looking at me so funny, Mackenzie?
Because
he loved
was
her.
not a good father to her.
Thank
Sure
you.
he was.
Thank you.
No.
He
How
was
many
not a
scenes
good.
do we have with his daughter?
He's not. He's always sloughing her off. He's not
Sloughing her off.
Spend time with
It's
her.
called He Lost the Divorce. What are we?
But you don't take that out on the child.
He didn't take it out on the child.
He sure as hell
He
did.
feeds her ice cream. So it's
Big
all
whoop.
her decision.
Food does not replace love.
He
It took
takes
me
her-
a
he
long
buys her a
time to learn
guitar,
that, but it's true.
And he takes her out and he gets her to come out of her shell a little bit. And she starts singing.
Here's a
I thought he was a
guitar.
great dad in that movie.
Here's a guitar. I'll see you in a year. It doesn't work like that, Josh.
You can't buy your
We
kids
don't-
love. You can't.
See
You
her
try
a
all you want,
year.
you can't.
She's in the movie. She's in 8 scenes. What are we talking about?
No.
I just want you to know at home that I am in my glory now.
No. So you're doing this. That's fine. The things like Mackenzie's arguing with me now. I'm like,
she's right about
you
being
can
a
only
good
have
dad.
so many scenes with the daughter in the movie that about analytics and baseball.
Here's an idea.
I'm just saying, as a daughter and a child of divorce,
they
live in
the
different
best to
cities.
speak
She
on
has to
this?
take a
Nope.
plane.
You don't have to. You don't have to buy a guitar. Just play catch or go walk to the end of the wharf and put your legs out and wait until the sun goes down and just have a moment with the child.
I'm sure Billy Bean and the actual Billy Bean and his actual daughter did that.
Well, in my opinion, I don't think Brad Pitt sold that he was a great dad. I think he sold that he was a busy man with a child. There's a difference.
He made tons of time for his kid. What are we talking about? It's not like he has court mandated visits.
And actually, the word "kid" I find offensive too, and I'm blaming that on Brad Pitt.
You just used the word "kid."
Only because you said it.
Child, fine. His child, his daughter, his lovely, lovely daughter.
Well, she
who convinces him to come back to a game.
She would have appreciated just
that
some
she was
time
out with her mom,
with her dad. The guitar was fine, but there was time, the important part.
So
didn't have
rather than seeing all of the other wonderful scenes in Moneyball, because we know these movies have to get cut for time, you'd rather see one of the scout scenes or Billy. This is whoever it is. He's a pitcher with this ERA. His only defect is blank. Instead of scenes like that, you'd rather them just sitting on the beach having a beach day.
I just really think that a nice scene
in
where
the middle
there
of
was,
the summer in California.
It would have been nice to have a scene that involved, spending real quality time. And I didn't
They
see
went
that.
out to the guitar store together and she started singing and he was like, oh man, like that's so great. Like you're so talented. I love my talented daughter.
And then he puts the cassette in to listen to it for a while. That was great.
After she records it for him.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That sounds like a daughter that loves her dad to me.
Well, she does, but children love their dads and moms no matter what.
An active father.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we're going to move on. Did
we watch the same movie?
Didn't he give up the Red Sox job to stay close to his daughter? Well,
Correct.
That wasn't in the movie that I remember.
What, him giving up the Red Sox job? That's literally at the end of the movie.
Oh, he talked to the guy, but he turned it down. It wasn't enough money, or he didn't like.
No, it was going to be. It would have made him the most, the highest paid GM in the history of professional sports.
And he could have worked with Bill James.
He could have,
Yeah.
but instead he's like, "Hey, my daughter lives in California. I better be close to there."
You know what I love about this segment is Declan is over here saying this has nothing to do with sports.
Well,
What are you
At
talking
all.
about? Money has plenty to do with
Well,
sports.
like, no, my thing is like, we're going to go into the Declan CAA next segment. And like the second I take a breath after 6 minutes, it's going to be like, well, are you done? And then I'm like, well, we just talked about Jim Carrey for 20 minutes when we could have been talking about the stuff you want to talk about. Like, I thought I was talking about basketball now.
So are you unhappy?
Well, it's just a little like, I just know like the second I take a breath, I'm going to get asked to cut it off. And it's like, well, we just had 20 minutes where we were talking
But somebody
about
sends me a text at the end. I'd like to respond to it.
Yeah, no, of course.
But you get,
Of course.
if we take a break now, you'll have most of 15 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, whatever. I don't. Who cares?
No. I understand.
But you understand like why I sit here being so quiet.
You want us to shut up and take a break?
No, I don't like talk about.
No,
it.
let's
It's
shut up
not
and
my
take a
prerogative.
break.
Lowdown with
it's not-
Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
For many families, the stress of divorce can throw your life out of balance. The loss of a relationship, ongoing conflict, mounting legal bills, and uncertainty about the future can feel overwhelming. Hi, I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. At Fairway, our team helps you restore balance through mediation, negotiation, and a unique step-by-step process. With 2 offices in Edmonton dedicated to serving your needs, our goal is simple: to help you navigate a path back to peace and clarity. Visit us today at Fairway Divorce.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440. At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers, and that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
He knows all about the Expos and Oilers. It's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440. We needed more cowbell, and we got it. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check it out, wolfgmcbuick.com. 141, and we don't want to delay here because this is Declinations.
Whoa.
Brought to you by Fairway Divorce Solutions, the clear road to a new life. There is a better way. Fairwaydivorce.com.
What a sponsor after the last
Yeah.
discussion.
That was really good. It was timely.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
We got to plan it like that better all the time. We just got to somehow sneak in that conversation before Declinations. Man, Selection Sunday is on the horizon. I don't want to say inevitable, but the moment that every college basketball fan has been dreading has come to pass. Miami of Ohio, that 31-0 team that was a darling and a Cinderella, and that everyone was saying if they lose, they're going to be on the bubble. They lost this morning. They lost to the 8th-seeded UMass Minutemen in the MAC tournament. UMass was 7-11 this season. So they finished the season 31-1. And there is going to be a legitimate discussion whether they should be in the tournament. And my thing, what I kind of push back on, because I understand the metrics aren't great. They're like the 93rd ranked Ken Palm team. Notre Dame, funny enough, Notre Dame was 13-18 this season. I think they're like 89th in Ken Palm or something, just to kind of give you a reference point to where they were. They're the 54th ranked net ranked team. They have 2 quad 2 wins. They still don't have a quad 1 game played, which isn't really that rare for a MAC team. But my thing that it kind of comes back to is, you play games to win. And this team played 32 games and they won 31 of them.
Yes.
How are you going to keep them out? And especially, how are you going to keep them out when, like, you look around at the other bubble teams? Do you want a 16-15 Auburn team who went 4-12 in quad 1, who lost at home to Mississippi and lost to Mississippi State? Do you want an 18-13 West Virginia team who lost to Kansas State and was 5-7 in quad 1, which it's actually decently respectable for a team with their overall record? Do you want an 18-14 Cincinnati team who went 3-11 in quad 1?
Right.
And they lost to Eastern Michigan. Do you want I had one more here. Do you want Indiana? Do you want an 18-13 Indiana team who also went 3-11 in quad 1 and lost to Minnesota and Northwestern? Like, are those the teams you want in because they're big brands over a team that went 31-1 and happened to trip up in a conference tournament? That happens. That is the magic of Mark.
Also, you just have the example of what happened in college football. So give the team a chance. And their record is brilliant. And they lost. You said you actually predicted that they would. What happens if all of this happens and then it occurs? But still, it's too good a story. People will be mad forever. You got to do it. You have to let them in.
I agree. Like, it happened a little earlier than I would have liked. Like I said, that UMass loss, that's a quad 4 loss. So for anyone who doesn't know, there's 4 different quadrants worth of wins or losses in college basketball based on your opponent's net rankings, based on whether it's home, away, or a neutral site. Quad 4 is the worst to get. Like, quad 4, that's a bad loss. Don't get me wrong. But my thing is like the analytics dorks are going to have a field day with this, and we're going to kind of ignore the fact that this team played 32 games, won 31 of them, and we're going to try and put like Bruce Pearl's son in with a 16-16 Auburn team. Like I if you have an issue with where Miami of Ohio ranks based on, their net ranking, their KenPom ranking, things like that, sure. But my argument would be, do you want to put those teams I listed in ahead of them? Right. Now we do have a bunch of tickets punched. We have some really cool stories. So Queen's University, I got to get their official name right. It is their first tournament appearance ever. The Queens Royals, who play out of Charlotte, they are making their first tournament appearance ever. So this Queens team this year, they were 21-13 in the Atlantic Sun. They're 181st in KenPom, 190th in net ranking. They were 0-5 in Quad 1, and they were only 2-4 in Quad 3. So awesome, they're there. First tournament appearance ever. It's awesome to punch your ticket and get a chance to go to the dance. They will be a first 4-16 seed, I would have to imagine. We'll have to see how the rest of the conference tournaments play out. And this is a team that probably, you got there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you got there. Idaho, they're making their 5th appearance ever, but their first since 1990.
What is the Idaho team's name?
Vandals.
Oh, I like
the
that.
Idaho Vandals.
Oh,
They were 21-14 in the Big Sky this year. They're 144th in KenPom, 142nd in net ranking, and they're 0-4 in Quad 2. So it's not looking too great with them. Tennessee State, they are making their first appearance since 1994, their 3rd ever. They were 23-9 this year. They were 186th in KenPom, 173rd in net ranking, 0-2 in Quad 1. Those are kind of some of the bad teams, so I just wanted to highlight, like, hey, you got there. That's really cool. Good for you guys. But I do want to talk about two teams that punched their tickets that I actually think could possibly do something so far.
Okay.
So High Point this year out of the Big South, they're a 30-win team. 30 wins is an incredible threshold. We'll see how many teams get there at the end of the season. They went 30-4. They're 74th in net ranking, and they're actually 5-2 as a Quad 3 team, which is pretty good for the Big South Conference. So if you want to maybe put a little on High Point, depending on the matchup, once we get the bracket, I'll tell you what it looks like. I'll tell you how they match up with whoever they're playing. But if you want to maybe preliminarily think about High Point is getting a first-round win, I don't hate that at all. And I think they play with, I'd have to check their ranking. I think they're a pretty high offensive team. And then McNeese. McNeese won a tournament game last year as a 12 seed against 5th-seeded Clemson. Year before that, they were a 30-win team. They're back. They're 65th in KenPom. They're 57th in net ranking. They're 2-2 in Quad 2, and they're 8-0 in Quad 3. So those are two teams. If you're looking at some of those lower seeds, 13, 14 seeds, where you want to pick one to kind of be different, I think you want to look to McNeese, and I think you want to look to High Point.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
I didn't want to say, are you done?
I know you didn't. I know you didn't.
Little sensitivity
That's
there.
why I know you
mean,
didn't. That's why I had to end it myself, because I knew you wouldn't do it. You're too kind.
You know the funniest part of that though? 6 minutes on the dot.
Oh yeah.
Just like you predicted. I'm going to talk about college basketball for 6 minutes, and then you're going to look at me and go, "Are you done? You have more?"
Well,
I mean, I always have more. It's conference tournament week,
I
right? St.
understand.
John's got to win. Virginia got to win today. Iowa State crushed Texas Tech.
But I have some things that people have texted in that I'd like to address.
Of course.
So I don't mean no disrespect
Hey.
to Declan, and he can take the whole time if he
I was
wishes.
more laughing at Declan in that situation.
Well,
But I don't want him to feel like he does not appreciate it, and we don't
He does
love what he
appreciate
does.
it. He has his own segment on the show.
Love you guys. I'll give you these two really quickly. That Auburn team I just talked about, they're up early on Tennessee, and the second team in the nation, Arizona, they're currently up 35-8.
Wow.
In the first half.
They may win. Patty and Spruce says, as a divorce survivor with 2 daughters that chose to go live with their mom, there's nothing that will be harder in life. It's not easy to be with them. Just saying. You know what? I should say that I was not a person who went through a divorce. But I will say there were times when we talked about what would happen if we did, and that was a bad idea. It really was, because there's, you get emotionally involved because they are your children. And anybody who's a parent knows how important children are. Lance says, I need to know more tips on how to be a good dad. Well, the only thing I would say is be present. That's the thing I learned, is that I get told many times the things that I didn't do correctly, but I was always there. And I thought, a guy told me years ago, I said, my kids are like 8 and 10. In another 10 years, they'll be, zipping out and they won't need me anymore. And he gave me such a great piece of advice. He said, they'll need you more when they're 18 and 20. And I'm like, come on. He goes, no, it's just, they're always your kids and they need you when they need you and you have to be there. And it's true. So that I don't give advice because just being present is I think that looking back, I can't believe how quickly it went. They will tell me stories about stuff that happened that was big in their life, and I barely remember it because I was doing lots of things. And even though I said I was present, it's really hard to be there for everything, right? And so I think you do your best and then you forgive yourself. And if your children are still, if they still hug you when they're in their 20s and 30s, then you did a little bit okay, I think. And as far as sorry. Go ahead.
Lance's first text in that exchange, however, was, I'm just here writing notes on how to be a good dad. Step 1, don't be a GM of a baseball team. Check.
Which that's the other thing is I won't tell specifically, but I think you have to stop doing dangerous things when you become a dad and a mom. Like don't skydive anymore. Don't fly to the moon. I think you have to stop.
Katy Perry.
Is she the one who was dating Justin Trudeau?
Yeah.
Still are. Yeah.
Still is.
Whoa, I thought they were broken up.
No, that's
You can't
Katy
break
Perry
up
and
love.
Orlando Bloom.
Oh, well,
She's been making a lot of posts about Justin Trudeau too.
I can't keep up with this stuff, but let's keep it on sports because Declan spent only 6 minutes on the basketball, so we got to be.
She did post really, really quickly a photo dump with Justin Trudeau, and then there's a meme that says patiently waiting for my boyfriend to finish his big boy business stuff so we can call, which I thought was kind of funny.
That made me chuckle.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I look, there's I don't want to get into it too much, but I'm glad that everybody is finding happiness, and I hope that the same is true for the former Mrs. Trudeau. So,
and Orlando Bloom.
Well,
what's wrong with Orlando Bloom now?
Nothing's wrong with him.
No, shit. Mackenzie made a face. So
I
now
don't know
that means I messed up. I know.
No.
I know the face that girls make when it's you messed up.
Because you've seen it so much.
Yes.
I'm just saying, I don't.
Sister and a mom.
Looking from the outside, I don't think Orlando Bloom was that great to Katy Perry. Anyways, we can get back to sports.
I will say this that I in my lifetime I have been blessed twice over with wonderful people in my life. But even with all of that, I lead the world in eye rolls. Like if that was a skill, I'd be an Olympic gold medalist. So anyway, everybody hang in there. And divorced moms and dads, I can't imagine how difficult that is. And we want to be sensitive to that. All right. So the Edmonton Oilers are playing tonight. And they're playing in Dallas. The pregame is at 5 o'clock today. We know that Emerson is out. We know Stastny is in on the third pairing. Tristan Jarry will start, but Connor Ingram will back up. Adam Henrique draws in because Doc is injured, and we kind of knew that, I think, that he'd be out a little bit of time based on what we had seen. So that sets the stage. What's interesting now is the Oilers in a series of games on the road where I thought they needed to go 2-1-1 to make it worthwhile. They needed 5 points from the 4 games. They've started off 2-0, and now you get greedy. So what you want is a result tonight, and then you want to win against St. Louis. Because if they can go 3-1-0 or 4-0, then I do think it changes the playing field moving forward. That we can talk again about the Pacific Division and hosting playoff games in the first round. And that is a long way from where we were even a week ago. So the deadline's come and gone. Somebody said, was it Kevin McCurdy said yesterday that sometimes the deadline impacts players even if they don't get traded. There's nervousness around it, and there's something to play for unless you're the Calgary Flames.
Well, Eric Francis said the same thing about Blake Coleman. I think it was in the Capitals game. It's like Blake Coleman just coming around. He talked to me and was like, hey, all the things were happening and I thought I was going to get dealt, and it really messed with me for a while, but I think I'm back.
I was surprised Coleman didn't go.
Me too, but I'm glad he didn't. I love Coleman, but and the only reason I'm happy is because Kadri got traded. So I wanted one of those two guys gone.
Now you got futures, and you got yourself a young college signing today. So everything's coming up Millhouse for the Flames.
Correct.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lowdown. We appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow, which is Friday. Oh, my God, already. Steve Lansky will join us, and, of course, we'll have more on tonight's game, and looking forward to the weekend. Please enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. 14 games in the NHL tonight. Oilers take on the Stars at 6. Jarry gets the start, and we've got pregame coverage with Andrew Walker starting at 5. Sharks meet the Bruins at TD Garden. Flames are in New Jersey. Jets host the Rangers. Preds take on Vancouver. Golden Knights look to bounce back against the Penguins. Colorado and Seattle have the late slate, 9 games in the association. 76ers and Pistons tip off at 5 at Little Caesars. Hawks host the Nets. Spurs take on the Nuggets. OKC meet the Celtics. Chicago and Lakers have the nightcap. In the NFL offseason, former Baltimore Ravens backup running back Keaton Mitchell is signing a 2-year deal with the Chargers for $9.25 million, including $5 million guaranteed. The Players' Championship is underway. McNeely, Thomas, and Henley are leading the charge. Canadians in the tournament. Kerry Connors is tied for 18th, and Nick Taylor is tied for 57th. Next on Sports 1440, The Jason Gregor Show. I'm Mackenzie, and that's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.